My dad has been acting strange lately. I think my grandpa's death might be the reason why. My grandpa passed away about 4 months ago. My grandpa was an interesting guy to say the least. He always told me stories when I was younger. Not normal stories a grandpa would tell his grandchild. Stories of a man who managed to gain immortality. I always thought of it as something strange, but when I asked my dad about it, he played it off as my grandpa being a senile old man. One night, about 4 months ago, he had called my dad to go visit him. He specifically asked for just him to come and no one else. My dad did what he asked and visited him that night alone. That same night, my grandpa passed away. My dad didn't come home till late at night. When my dad returned home, he was drunk. My dad isn't the type of person to get drunk. He occasionally has alcohol, but never to the point where he gets drunk. Originally, I brushed it off as him drinking because he was upset his father just passed away. However, when I looked closer at my father, he seemed almost happy, like he had accomplished some goal. I kept a close eye on my dad for the next few months. Suddenly, my dad was drinking black coffee when before he always poured milk and sugar into it. He was now reading books in his free time when before he primarily liked to play video games. None of it was making any sense. One day, I peeked into my dad's room and caught him reading the old book about immortality my grandpa used to read to me. I thought this was strange, mainly because my dad never liked that book. He always made remarks about it whenever my grandpa would read it to me. When my dad saw me peeking through the door, he immediately screamed at me to get away. I did as I was told. When I went back to room, I decided to do some investigating. My grandpa never read the entire book to me. There were 2 specific chapters he purposefully skipped over. I wanted to know what secrets those chapters held. I snuck in when my dad went off to work. What I found out has changed my entire life. Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 were the chapters he never let me read. Chapter 5 starts off with the main character of the book coming across a man in distress. The main character offers to help him, but in return he wants something from him. The man offers him knowledge of a scroll that contains the power of immortality. He's taken up on the deal, and at the end of chapter, he finds out where is it. In Chapter 6, he finds the scroll and finds the missing piece of immortality he was searching for. In order to become effectively immortal, you need create a bloodline. The concept was to transplant your mind and soul into someone else's body, effectively switching bodies with them so long as they're blood related. There were weird symbols at the end of the chapter, while each one taking up an entire page. I guess this was his way of hiding the scroll in plain sight. I put the book back and ran back to my room, terrified. The man living with me and my mother is no longer my dad. The book looks ancient, like it could date back hundreds of years. He didn't find immortality. Rather, he's been stealing the lives of his descendants for centuries. I need to get out of this house as soon as possible, or I'll be the next life he steals.